house was overflowing with people. Friends of friends, co-workers, classmates, all packed tightly into narrow hallways and dimly lit rooms. Orange string lights flickered against fake cobwebs. A fog machine hissed near the back door. Music thumped through cheap speakers, loud enough to shake the walls. Costumes blurred together, masks, face paint, fake blood, making it impossible to tell who was who. People laughed too loudly. Drinks spilled onto the floor. Someone screamed playfully every time the music dropped. Outside, the neighborhood was strangely quiet. No kids running, no cars passing. Just the occasional rustle from the trees and the soft crunch of footsteps on gravel. Sounds no one questioned because it was Halloween. And everything felt normal. Until it wasn't. The music cut out suddenly. Before anyone could react, the front door slammed open so hard it cracked against the wall. At first, people laughed, assuming it was part of the party. Then they saw the guns. 3 masked men rushed inside, faces hidden behind black ski masks, weapons raised, screaming for everyone to get on the ground. Their voices were sharp, frantic, angry, nothing like a prank. The room exploded into chaos. Some people froze where they stood. Others dropped instantly. Someone screamed so loudly it cut straight through the noise. One of the intruders fired a warning shot into the ceiling. Plaster rained down. The smell of gunpowder filled the room. That's when everyone realized this was real. Phones were kicked away, hands were zip-tied behind backs. People were dragged by their costumes across the floor and forced to lie face down. Anyone who moved too slowly was shoved, hit, or threatened. One friend, the host, kept trying to talk. He begged them to calm down, told them they could take whatever they wanted, told them there was no money in the house. The intruders didn't care. They kept shouting, accusing, demanding cash that didn't exist. Their hands shook on their weapons. They were nervous, unpredictable, dangerous. Then more of them arrived. The back door opened. Another masked figure stepped in, followed by another. Now there were too many to count. Tempers flared. One person tried to lift their head just to see. A gun slammed into their face. Blood hit the floor. Time stopped making sense after that. Minutes felt like hours. Every sound, a sniffle, a cough, a whimper, felt like it could be the last mistake someone ever made. People stared at the floor, memorizing cracks in the wood. It was supposed to be one of the safest nights of the year. The sun had just gone down, and the neighborhood was alive. Porch lights glowed orange and purple. Plastic pumpkins flickered on doorsteps. Kids ran from house to house, laughing, shouting, showing off costumes that were already falling apart. Candy bowls emptied faster than expected. Inside the house, everything felt normal, comfortable even. The television played quietly in the background. The front door opened and closed constantly. The homeowner barely paid attention to the clock. Then the phone rang. The number on the screen was blocked. At first, the voice on the other end sounded ridiculous, deep, slow, exaggerated, like someone trying too hard to be creepy. "I see you," the caller whispered. The homeowner laughed it off and hung up, assuming it was just another Halloween prank. Someone trying to scare people for fun. For me, same blocked number. This time, the voice was calmer, lower, closer. The homeowner felt a flicker of unease, but still tried to stay rational. They told themselves it was a bored teenager, a group of kids messing around. They hung up again. I'm walking toward your house now." The words landed differently this time. The homeowner glanced at the front window. Outside, kids still ran past. Parents stood on sidewalks chatting. Everything looked normal, but the laughter suddenly sounded distant. Yes, the color of the house, the decorations on the porch, the sound of the television playing inside. That's when disbelief turned into fear. The homeowner locked the doors, turned off the porch light. The phone rang again. "I'm at your driveway." A loud knock hit the front door, not playful, not rhythmic, just a hard, heavy odor that made the walls shake. The homeowner froze. Footsteps moved along the side of the house. A shadow passed the window. Someone tried the doorknob, twisting it violently. Panic took over. When the doorknob rattled again, they hit play. And then frantic footsteps. Running, someone shouting in panic. Doors slamming in the distance. No one spoke. The line stayed open for several seconds, then disconnected. Police arrived later and searched the area, but whoever it was had vanished into the night. No arrests. No explanation. From that night on, Halloween was never fun again. Because what started as a prank had crossed into something far more dangerous. The streets were busy, glowing with porch lights and jack-o'-lanterns. Kids rushed from house to house, their plastic pumpkins slowly filling with candy. Laughter echoed between the houses as costumes swished and masks slipped sideways. There were a few adults nearby, standing on porches or sidewalks, watching groups pass by. Everything felt familiar, predictable, innocent. That's when the children noticed the figure. At first, it was easy to ignore. A tall person in a dark mask standing near the end of the block. Halloween was full of costumes after all. No one thought much of it, but when the group crossed the street, the figure crossed too. In watching, the kids laughed it off and kept moving. They told themselves it was nothing, someone trying to be creepy for fun. But he stays always just far enough away to avoid attention, always close enough to notice. When the children changed direction, cutting between houses to reach another street, the figure followed. When they sped up, his pace matched theirs. The one of the kids glanced back and realized something chilling. The figure wasn't carrying a candy bag. He wasn't trick-or-treating. He wasn't with anyone, he was only watching them. That's when the vehicles appeared. A dark Jeep rolled slowly beside the group, its headlights off. Behind it, an SUV followed at the same speed. The engines idled quietly, keeping pace. The windows were down. Two men inside stared at the children without speaking. They didn't ask where they were going. They didn't smile. They didn't wave. They just watched. One of the men opened his door slightly. The footsteps pounded on the pavement. Someone screamed for their parents. The sound of an engine revving behind them made their stomachs twist. They didn't look back. They burst through a front door, slamming it shut, locking it, collapsing onto the floor in tears. Parents rushed in, confused, terrified. By the time adults went back outside, the vehicles were gone. The masked figure was gone too. No, but every child there learned something that night. Halloween isn't always safe. And sometimes the scariest costumes aren't meant for fun.